You have heard this one. 70% of lottery winners end up broke. It gets repeated in every article, every video, every conversation about money. That number is made up. It was never a study. Nobody ever measured it. And the organization everyone credits it to has publicly said in writing that it did not come from them and they cannot confirm it. So I went looking for what the actual research says. And what I found is stranger and honestly more useful than the myth. Because the real data does not say winners go broke. It says something much more specific about what money does to a person who is already in trouble. And that finding applies to you even if you never buy a ticket in your life. Hi, I am Clara. In this video, Clara is going to take apart the most repeated statistic in personal finance, show you the real number, and then show you the one that actually matters. Let us start with where 70% came from, because the story is almost funny. In 2001, a foundation that works on financial education held a symposium. Experts in a room, talking about what happens to people who receive sudden money. During that conversation, somebody said something along the lines of 70% of people who come into sudden wealth lose it within a few years. It was a remark. In a room, not a paper, not a data set, not a survey. A journalist picked it up. Then another one cited the first. Then a book cited the article. And within a few years, it had become a fact that everybody knew and nobody had checked. The foundation itself eventually put out a statement saying the statistic is not backed by their research, that they cannot confirm it, and that repeated reporting without validation is what kept it alive. It is still everywhere. You will probably see it again this week. So, what is the real number? 3 economists went and got actual records. They took almost 35,000 people who won the Florida Fantasy 5 lottery over about a decade, and they matched those people against bankruptcy filings. Out of those 35,000 winners, just under 2,000 filed for bankruptcy within 5 years of winning. That is under 6%, not 70. And before anyone celebrates, 6% is not a small number either. Bankruptcy is not a common event. So a bankruptcy rate that high among people who just received free money is genuinely strange, and it is where the interesting part starts. Because here is the thing. 6% sounds like the story is over. It is not. The story is not in how many, it is in when. The researchers split the winners into 2 groups, people who won small, under about $10,000, and people who won mid-range, $50,000 to $150,000. Now, $50,000 to $150,000 is a serious amount of money. It is not private jet money, but it is more than most Americans have saved. It is enough to erase most consumer debt in the country. In the first 2 years after winning, the big winners did better. Fewer bankruptcies. Exactly what you would expect. Money arrives, fires get put out, everything looks fine. Then years 3 through 5 arrive, and in that window, the big winners were about 50% more likely to file for bankruptcy than the small winners. Add it all up across the full 5 years, and the big winners were no better off than the people who won almost nothing. The money did not prevent the bankruptcy. It moved it. So why would that happen? How does someone get $100,000 and still land in the same place? Because money is a number, and the thing that produced the problem is a system. Picture someone whose life costs $4,000 a month and who brings in $3,700. Every month, quietly, they lose $300. Credit fills the gap. That is a system, and it has exactly one outcome. Given enough time, now hand that person $100,000. Nothing about the machine changed. The income is the same. The expenses are the same. The $300 leak is still there. All that happened is that a very large bucket got placed under the leak. The bucket buys years. It does not fix the pipe. And because the bucket is so big, it removes the one thing that might have forced a repair, which is urgency. That is the whole finding in one sentence. A windfall does not fix a broken system. It sedates it. There is a second thing happening, and it makes the first one worse. When money arrives, spending does not stay still. It rises to meet it. The car gets replaced. The abika comes a house. The vacation gets booked. None of these are stupid decisions on their own, and most of them are things the person genuinely wanted for years. But notice what each one does. A nicer car is not one payment, it is a payment, plus insurance, plus maintenance forever. A bigger house is not one purchase, it is a mortgage, plus taxes, plus utilities, plus furniture forever. The windfall was a one-time event. The commitments it created are permanent. Never turn on. So the person does not just return to their old life when the money runs out. They return to a life that now costs more than the old one, on the same income that could not cover the old one. That is how you end up worse than where you started, while having done nothing obviously wrong. Then there is the part nobody plans for, and it is the one winners talk about most. Lottery wins in most American states are public record. Your name, your city, sometimes your photo. So the money does not just arrive in your account, it arrives in your relationships. The requests start. A brother who needs help with a business, a cousin behind on rent, a friend with an opportunity. And these are not villains. Most of them are people you love who genuinely need help. And now they know for a fact that you can give it. Saying yes drains the money. Saying no costs the relationship. Most people alternate between the two until both are gone. And there is a quieter version of this that costs even more. Once people know, you get sold to. Advisors appear, ventures appear. People who were never interested in your opinion become extremely interested in your judgment. Money makes you visible. Visibility is expensive. Here is one structural decision that matters enormously, and it is worth understanding before you ever need it. Big jackpot winners choose between taking the lump sum now or the annuity, paid out over decades. Almost everybody takes the lump sum. It is a much smaller headline number after the discount and the taxes, but it is all yours today. Financially, the lump sum can absolutely be the better choice if you invest it well. The math supports it. But look at what the annuity actually does. It converts a one-time event into an income. It removes the possibility of losing everything in year 2. And it keeps giving you money in year 15. When the excitement is gone and you have become a different person than the one who won. The annuity is worse on a spreadsheet and better for a human being who has never managed that much money before. That trade shows up everywhere in personal finance. The optimal answer and the survivable answer are frequently not the same answer. Now let me give you the other side, because I do not want you walking away thinking sudden money is a curse. It is not. Researchers studied lottery winners in Sweden and followed them for years. Those winners largely held on to their wealth. Their net worth stayed higher for a long time. They did not spiral, so the collapse is not automatic. It is not the money doing it. Plenty of people receive a windfall and are simply better off afterward, permanently, with no drama and no documentary made about them. What the research points at is not the size of the check. It is whether the person receiving it had a working system underneath, and whether the money stayed private enough to be managed instead of defended. Which means this is not a story about luck ruining people. It is a story about arithmetic that was already running before the money showed up. So what separates them? Looking across the research and the case histories, it comes down to a short list. They do nothing for a while. No purchases, no gifts, no announcements. The money sits somewhere boring while the emotional spike wears off, and that spike takes months, not days. They tell almost nobody. The people who keep it are the people who stayed invisible. They fix the leak first. Before any upgrade, the monthly math gets solved. Income above expenses permanently, so that the windfall is sitting on top of something stable instead of propping it up. They convert it into income rather than spending it as a balance. A pile of money feels like permission. An income feels like a fact. And they change one thing at a time, not the car and the house and the job in the same quarter. None of that is complicated. All of it is boring. That is exactly why it works. Now here is why I actually wanted to make this video, and it has almost nothing to do with lottery tickets. You are probably never going to win a jackpot, but you are extremely likely to receive a windfall, a raise, a bonus, an inheritance, a settlement, a tax refund, selling a house, a new job that pays $20,000 more than the old one. Every single one of those is the same event, in a smaller size. Money arrives and the system underneath it either changes or it does not. Think about the raises you have already gotten. Be honest. Is your life meaningfully more secure than it was at your old salary, or did the money simply get absorbed and disappear? For most people, the answer is that it got absorbed. Not through anything reckless, just through a slightly nicer version of everything. That is the exact mechanism that took down the Florida winners. Same machine. Smaller numbers. Slower clock. So no, 70% of lottery winners do not go broke. The number was invented in a room and repeated until it became true. The real finding is more useful anyway. Money postpones. Systems decide. And the next time a windfall of any size lands in your account, the question is not what to buy. It is whether the monthly arithmetic underneath it still ends the same way. Fix the leak, then enjoy the money. In that order. It works at $100,000 and it works at a $200 raise. If this was useful, subscribe, because the next one is about the fastest version of this same machine. The betting apps on your phone, where researchers found that for every dollar wagered, the money households put into investments fell by more than $2. Not their fun budget, their future. And tell me in the comments, what was the last windfall you got, even a small one? And where did it actually go? I read them.